No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to smack it raw.
The following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the co-hosts are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Grab your Jergens, get your Kleenex, and settle in because we are smacking it raw. I am your host, the Warden, Matt Ritter, and I am here with my lovely wife and co-host today, Caitlin Ritter. Kate, how you doing?
I'm good. It's weird when you say my full name. So
Yeah, I know. I just
stop doing that.
I need you to have a nickname because it doesn't sound. It's weird because everyone has a nickname. So when I try and do it, like I need to say something before I say how you doing, Kate, and you can't give yourself a nickname. No.
Then give me one.
If you guys have any suggestions for what we should nickname Kate, you can send them to me at Matt Ritter on Twitter. That's at MATTRIDDER. You can leave them in the comments here, something. But let's get Kate a nickname so I have a better intro for her when I invite her on. Normally this is the part of the show where we go and Travis slides into Sasha's DMs, but Travis isn't here. He wasn't available Friday night. Last night was your lovely mother's birthday, so we weren't able to record last night, so we are doing it now. So we'll slide right into news and rumors. First off, apparently they're no longer referring to the NXT Women's Championship as the Women's Championship. Now it is just the NXT Championship.
So there are two NXT championships then?
Yes, Adam Cole has one and Rhea Ripley has the other.
That's confusing.
They're removing the gender-specific roles of the championships, apparently.
Well, it's nice, but super confusing.
Yeah. Next, apparently people were getting on Seth Rollins for posting and then deleting what they called a racist picture. I saw the picture. It looked like some guys in some KKK outfits, like with the tall hats and everything, but I can't remember what they said it was from. American Horror Story. I think it was from like the opening of American Horror Story or something.
Okay.
And I guess his buddy was using that photo to promote some business that he was doing, and Seth was trying to help him out, and then people, was like, "Hey, that looks like you just posted a video or a picture from the KKK," and he's like, "Oh shit," and deleted it. Last but not least, Io Shirai is injured and reportedly out for 2 months.
After Monday?
Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Oh, never mind. I got her confused with somebody else. Never mind. I was thinking Kairi Sane.
Yeah. Where do you want to start, Kate? Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or AEW?
Why not we start at the beginning? So, Raw.
Because we don't always do that. I let you guys pick.
And I picked.
Seth and his crew kick off Monday Night Raw, bragging about how they took out the Big Show and converted Buddy Murphy, and Kevin Owens and Joe are like, "Hey, you know what? Like, yeah, good job, but we want to fight." And they didn't come alone because Seth's like, "Hey, if you guys want to take on Destiny, come on," but it's still 2-on-4. So they got the Viking Raiders, and they come down and they clear house, which then led to a tag team title match. Seth and Buddy Murphy versus the Viking Raiders for the tag team titles.
So dumb.
I don't know why. I mean, I guess maybe, the AOP hasn't wrestled a lot, so maybe they're not confident in their ability to put on a good match, but it's also Monday Night Raw. Maybe they don't want to put the tag team titles on them until they get a few more matches. Like, I don't know. I would have put the titles on the fucking tag team that are part of the group, not Buddy Murphy and Seth.
I agree. Plus,
But
Buddy Murphy looks like a huge tool. Like he'd be a real big douchebag in real life, but that's just me.
that's
Maybe
probably
it's
why
the
Alexa
haircut.
left him.
Probably.
Seth and Buddy defeat the Viking Raiders, and we have new Raw Tag Team Champions.
Oh, also, I wanted to point out that I have a note that says Buddy Murphy's initials are BM.
Like bowel
Which-
movement.
Yeah, just made me laugh. So,
Then we have a U.S. title ladder match: Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. Andrade wins with help from Zelina Vega. This was a good match. There was one missed ladder spot, or one that didn't. I guess it wasn't missed. It just didn't come off as well as it should have. You had Zelina up on top, getting in Ray's way, keeping him from grabbing it. I kind of wish she would have jumped onto him and given him a Hurricane Rana off the ladder. That would have been dope.
I kind of wish that she would have just taken the belt for herself.
Or that, well, we saw that with James Ellsworth, where he went up and got the belt and gave it to
Yeah.
Carmella. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Andrade wins thanks to Zelina, and now Andrade has both custody of the U.S. title and Humberto Carrillo, who he will be facing tonight at the Royal Rumble for the U.S. title.
Okay.
No comments on the custody thing?
Well, are we gonna do not good enough for Kate?
Yeah, we're gonna do not good enough for Kate. We'll do it after the end of Raw.
We'll get there.
If a title match, ladder match with Rey Mysterio in it is not good enough for Kate, I really, really seriously need to reconsider this whole dynamic between us, because there's no reason a ladder match for a title should not
Okay,
have your interest.
Just so real fast, it wasn't because of Rey Mysterio. But go on. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'll explain. Go on.
Aleister Black had a squash match. Paul Heyman comes out and repeats himself for the third week in a row about what Brock is going to do in the Royal Rumble and how Brock is going to do it, and that it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. And then,
Pew pew.
yeah. So of all the people to come out, we could have had R-Truth come back out to add some comedy to this and make it entertaining. Could have had like a legit contender that might take Brock out, come out and get in his face. But no, we send out Ricochet. Pew pew Ricochet.
Little bitty pew pew Ricochet.
And he lets us know that he ain't scared, even though his voice is shaking as he cuts a promo on Brock Lesnar. And then, and this is the part I liked, Brock kicks him directly in the dick. And you know why I like that, Kate?
Why?
Because it shows growth for Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar has learned after AJ Styles and Finn Balor and Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins and all these little guys that he's fought, that they're just going to kick him in the dick to get an advantage. So he went on the offensive first. He did the dick kicking first.
I mean, like, he could have suplexed him and it would have been the same effect.
No, it would. You don't have a dick. You don't know. Getting suplexed and getting kicked in the dick are not the same thing. They're not even remotely close to being the same thing.
Sure. Okay.
No, not sure. Okay, you need to understand.
I'm never going to understand, Matt.
Okay,
I don't
but
have a dick,
that's
so I'm never gonna get
that's
it.
my point. You can't say that, because if I get suplexed, I might not puke from that. If I get kicked in the dick hard enough, I could vomit, like, from pain.
Okay.
Have you ever been in so much pain it makes you want to puke?
Yeah.
Have you ever been in so much pain that you actually do puke?
Yeah, I have. It's
Well,
called a period. I get it once a month. It's, sometimes it's super painful. So yeah. Yeah. For a full week, Matthew.
Yeah, but
So when you get kicked in the dick and it hurts for a full week, let me know.
you do not puke every time you get a cramp. That is not
No,
true.
I don't. But there are sometimes, and that you don't puke every time you get kicked in the dick. So when was the last time you puked because you got kicked in the dick?
I can't even remember the last time I got kicked in the
Yeah.
dick.
Exactly.
Anyway, any thoughts on Paul Heyman, Ricochet, that whole segment that we were talking about before you tried to compare your
Um,
period to having my genitals mutilated?
Mutilated. No. The only note that I really have is on Ricochet, where he goes out there and he like, first of all, he's tiny. He's not a big, threat to Brock Lesnar. So he should go out there and do this promo with a strong voice and super in like confidence and all this shit. No, the dude's voice was shaking. He sounded nervous as fuck, and it just doesn't make it believable. Like he can actually do anything.
Yeah, he's not very good at cutting promos, and I'm sure
No.
that had part of it is he's just nervous going out there. I feel like I could see him trying to remember what he was supposed to say, and that's another problem is sending someone out there
Mhm.
with a script and making them say and repeat the script.
And hell, I would be nervous going up against, Paul Heyman and like his promo skills. I would totally be, shaking and shit. But like, this is your job, bro. You should have gotten over these nerves a while ago.
Yeah.
It's not like it's his first week. That was really the only thing that bugged me about it. But
All right. Next up, we got Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. That ends in a DQ when the OC comes down attacking Drew. Then Randy grabs a chair and they kind of run off the OC. And then Drew and Randy have a little stare down. And Drew's looking at Randy like he's going to use that chair. So Randy throws the chair down and walks away. And of course, this all ends with Randy catching an RKO, or Randy giving an RKO to Drew.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Drew sat in the corner going, I should have claymored you. Yeah, but you didn't.
He said he learned the lesson and he won't make that mistake again. So,
Good for him.
how do you like babyface Drew McIntyre?
Drew McIntyre is hot as fuck, so I don't really give a shit what he is. If you want me to be honest, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
He's got an accent. He's super tall, dark, and handsome. You know.
Backstage, we got a little preview of what it's going to be like with Mojo Rawley as our current 24/7 champion. The Bollywood boys try to distract and pin him. That does not work because they're not strong enough to roll him up,
Mm-mm.
and he just beats the crap out of them.
I don't know if I like Mojo as a heel.
I don't. I do. Like I
I'm
have been
50-50.
I've been gaining a strange amount of respect for Mojo since he took that stunner from Kevin Owens because he took the stunner from Kevin Owens better than I've seen anyone take a stunner from Kevin Owens. So that right there in his selling earned him a little bit of grace. And then since
Mm-hmm.
then he has slowly been impressing me, and I feel like the 24/7 title got stale. Maybe it was like Travis and I and you and I have talked about where they moved Carmella to SmackDown, and that kind of made it lose part of its luster for whatever reason because
Yeah.
Truth and Carmella were so good together. Or maybe it's just R-Truth running away and people chasing him and rolling him up in various places got a little old. So now we've got something new here. We've got this Mojo Rawley, and he's going to not run, and he's just going to punch people in the face and throw them into shit. And this could be entertaining and good. So I'm on board with the Mojo train right now.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with him being 24/7 champ. I totally agree because yeah, our truth did get a little bit stale, but yeah, I just don't know if I like him as a heel. I'm 50-50. There's some things that he does where I'm like totally good with, and then there's some things where I'm like,
I hate him as a babyface, so I'm good with this.
yeah, I know you do.
Then we have Becky versus Kairi Sane. Becky wins the match. They did this cool thing where Asuka sat on the turnbuckle post and watched the match while they were wrestling. I really enjoyed that. And then, of course, after Becky gets the win, Asuka comes in with a Shining Wizard and beats down Becky. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your excitement level for Becky versus Asuka at the Royal Rumble?
6.
Okay. That's actually
So
higher than I thought.
no, and the only reason I say that it was because, and I don't know if it was Kyrie or if it was Becky, but the match started out with that throat punch that I'm pretty sure wasn't supposed to be a throat punch. And it seemed like there were a lot of botches in this whole thing. There
Okay.
was a DDT that was cool, but it was weird. One of Becky's kicks didn't even get up to her stomach. It hit her in the thigh. It was just weird. It was a weird match for me.
I love the man gimmick. They haven't really done the man gimmick lately, and I honestly think that it's time for Becky to drop that title. I am rooting for Asuka. By the way, seeing as you are the self-appointed commissioner of picks when we have our WrestleMania party later, on the coffee table in front of you,
Rumble party.
Royal Rumble party, on the coffee table in front of you,
Yeah.
is the prediction list and the list of Royal Rumble competitors that have been announced and rumored.
Yeah.
We're going to need that later. I left it down there since you're the one that does all that.
It's really far away.
It's not that far away.
It's on the other side of the coffee table.
It's closer to you. Well, I didn't put it there.
I'm not going to argue about who put what where. Okay.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the Monday after segment, the Monday after the weekend update segment that
I did. I really enjoyed that.
I didn't.
I love this. Really? You're such a fun sucker. But
Listen.
Did you ever really watch Saturday Night Live though?
I did. I mean, not recently, and I know what the weekend update is, and there's some good shit in there, but they're not doing it for me. Like, I enjoyed the reboot segment and then the Otis Val Venus tribute. Like, those two things did it for me. I really like Montez Ford, but Montez Ford doing this does not work for me. I do not find him funny.
Which one is Montez Ford?
The skinny one.
The taller one?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm really bad with names.
Angelo Dawkins, he brought it around, that whole reboot thing and what they did. Like, that was cool. That was funny.
Oh, he said something. I don't remember what he said, but go on. Yeah, maybe it was the reboot thing. I don't remember.
We was talking about how reboots suck and they're all terrible, and then they showed
and they showed the Miz and
Morrison, and he goes, I'm just kidding. I love reboots. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Because he said everything in WWE is fresh and entertaining and new. You know.
Yeah.
That was good, and the stuff with Otis was good, but the rest of it just fell flat for me. They didn't do it. Oh, boy. And then we had Matt Hardy lose to Eric Rowan. Oh, boy. Yeah, we had Matt Hardy lose to Eric Rowan. Are you there, Kate? Your computer froze. So Hardy loses to Rowan. Rowan gets bit again and slams the cage. I don't know what's in the cage. I don't know if we're going to find out what's in the cage. Kate's gone. So I'm just kind of biding time. And it's just me now. So we'll go get Kate back. When she is available. That sucks. Also, she's downstairs, so I don't even know how that happened. Yeah, she just texted me. She said she got kicked off. So anyway, I'm bummed. Like, why is Matt Hardy losing? Well, I know why he's losing to Rowan, but like, why are we doing this build for Rowan? Why is there a cage? Are we ever going to find out what's in the cage? I don't think we are. I really don't. I don't think we're going to find out what's in the cage. And she's back. There she is.
Hello?
Hi. What's up?
Took a minute.
Yeah, no, I was just babbling on. We are talking about Matt Hardy and Eric Rowan and the cage, and if we're ever going to find out what's in the cage.
Yeah.
I heard that Matt Hardy's leaving. There's rumors that he's leaving. So, like, they're not using him anyway.
Why did he even come back then? He comes back for what? 2 matches?
I don't know when he's leaving. I just heard eventually when his contract is up, he's leaving. He came back because they're paying him and they want to use him. And when they say, "Hey,
yeah,
you're healthy, come
he's
do a
broke.
match," he's got to do a match.
Whatever.
Any thoughts on the cage or that thing that keeps biting Eric Rowan?
Nope.
Or the animal abuse. I almost forgot about that. That thing bit him and he started slamming that fucking cage around.
Dude, you don't know if it's an animal or not. Could be a fucking gremlin. I mean, technically, wouldn't a gremlin be an animal, though?
Yeah. No matter what, he is abusing whatever is in that cage, and I am not okay with
Yeah,
it.
he's an abuser, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, I would have bit him too. And then, last but not least, we have a mixed tag team match. Liv and Rusev versus Lashley and Lana. And as per what everything has been in this fucking story, just hot garbage. Of course, Lashley and Lana defeat Rusev and Liv.
Which, why? Why at this point? Like, why not have Liv and Rusev beat them once? Are they having a match tonight or no?
No, thank God.
What the fuck?
They're in the Royal. Well, I'm assuming Liv and Lana are in the Royal Rumble, but they were not announced for the Royal Rumble. I know Lashley and Bobby are in the Royal Rumble, so you can expect this to continue into the men's Royal Rumble match.
Lashley and Bobby?
Yeah, Lashley and Bobby and Rusev too.
Rusev too.
Yeah.
So are you ready?
For what?
Not good enough for Kate.
Oh yeah, let's do not good enough for Kate. Monday Night Raw.
I'll start backwards. Matt Hardy and Eric Rowan were not good enough for me just because of Matt Hardy. I don't care. He's old. Stop wrestling. I know. These are my opinions, Matt, and I'm entitled to them.
You are entitled to your terrible opinions. You are
Stop
correct.
looking at me like that.
Here's the thing. I feel like I failed. You make me feel like I've failed.
I watch it, so you didn't fail.
Okay. So the tag team title match with Seth Rollins.
Not good enough because I was more annoyed that it annoys me that they put tag team belts on people who are not fucking tag teams. Just irritates me, so I don't want to watch the match. And I also don't give a shit about the Viking Raiders, so there's that. Drew and Randy were not good enough because the match was pretty slow. But I did only fast forward it on one, so it was a little bit more exciting for me. And I did watch the very end. All right, so Rey Mysterio and Andrade. The reason why I didn't watch it is because I don't give a shit about the storyline. I did not watch wrestling when Rey Mysterio was big. I didn't. I watched it. I literally remember Triple H and Stephanie getting married. So that was like the time period that I watched wrestling in. Rey Mysterio wasn't big. I don't remember him when I was a kid.
He was
I don't really care.
WCW at that point.
Yeah, and I didn't watch WCW. So honestly, yes, he's a good wrestler, but I'm not
Great
invested
wrestler.
in him.
Legend. That's fine.
Whatever.
I still argue that as a wrestling fan, a ladder match for a championship, whether you give a shit about Ray or not, especially with as great as Zelina and Andrade are.
The Intercontinental Champion championship is it Intercontinental or was it
United
what
States.
one was it? What have they done with that other than have Andrade and Ray fight over it for 2 months?
That's all you need.
Apparently, I need more.
It's still a ladder match, Kate. I don't even care if it's for the U.S. title. It's a goddamn ladder match. I'll excuse the rest. I'm not excusing that. That was poor decision making on your part.
But it wasn't because of the ladder, and I literally put in here, it was not good enough for me, and not because it's a ladder match, because I don't care about the storyline. I don't care.
I don't care if Zack Ryder
that they have.
I don't care if Zack Ryder and Heath Slater are having a fucking ladder match. I'm watching it because it's a goddamn ladder match.
You know I'd watch that one.
I know you'd watch that one, but that one would be way worse than this one.
How do you know?
Because Heath Slater and fucking Zack Ryder are not Andrade and Rey Mysterio. That's why.
Hang up on you.
You already did once.
Shut up. It was the internet. That wasn't me.
NXT,
The
AEW, or
internet
SmackDown?
NXT.
We kick off NXT with the Grizzled Young Veterans, which is the worst fucking tag team name I have ever heard in my life, and I hate saying it, and it's just awful. I didn't like it when they came out with it, and I was like, well, maybe it'll grow on me. It has not grown on me. Grizzled Young Veterans fucking sucks as a name for a tag team. But they defeat the Undisputed Era because apparently all Imperium had to do was come out on the balcony and be there, and all
Just
four
have to
members
Stare at him.
of Undisputed Era,
Yeah, just stare at him.
they stared very European.
Yeah.
And that
European death glare.
that European death glare, I like that. That's good. Good job. European death glare rendered them incapacitated, allowing the Grizzled Young Veterans to beat them. Then we got Tony Storm versus Io Shirai. This was a really good match up until the end because we didn't get a conclusion. Bianca comes down and attacks Tony because Bianca's the number one contender. Tony's got a match last night, which I still haven't watched yet. I will be watching after we finish this. Tony versus Rhea. And then Rhea comes down, and her and Bianca go at it, and then Io takes out Rhea and Bianca, and then Tony takes out Io, grabs the belt. And as we said, unfortunately, I don't know if it was during this altercation match or after, but Io will be out for 2 months with a knee injury. Anything?
No.
Okay.
Not up to that point, no.
Finn Balor gets to take out Chicago's own Joaquin Wilde. This is the guy that when we were at my sister's wedding, the DJ kept talking to me about. Chad?
Cool. Yeah, no, I know
Yeah.
it's Chad.
Okay.
Yeah. I've known Chad long.
Apparently he
as
knows the
you've
guy.
known Chad.
Well, apparently he knows the guy kept talking to me about him. Anyway, Finn Balor defeats him, and then Shotzi
Real
Blackheart.
quick. Okay, first of all, back up. So I did the Finn Balor match. So it wasn't a squash match? That dude is like a regular on the roster?
He was signed. He was part of the what the fuck did they call it? It was like the Rising Superstar or whatever, the breakout star tournament. So yeah, he's a regular superstar.
So he's newish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What the fuck is up with the Skeeter helmet?
It's his gimmick.
Remember that from Doug?
Yeah.
What the fuck? It was the weirdest thing.
You gotta
It's a
stand out,
weird
Kate.
fucking helmet.
You gotta stand out, Kate.
I fucking guess, but it was super weird. He had the Skeeter helmet and a goddamn cape or some shit. Like, it's a little weird.
Well,
Mixing genres.
he
It's
used
weird.
to do the Mustafa Ali thing with the lights and shit, but they
Okay.
both can't do it. So
With
I
the
guess
face mask thing.
face mask and the
Where
lights.
is Mustafa Ali? Is he
I
injured?
don't think so.
I haven't seen him in a while.
So yeah, he used to do that, but they both can't do it. So he had to find something new.
Gotcha. So on to Doug reruns and Skeeter helmet. Got it.
Mm-hmm. It's like Quail Man with the Skeeter helmet because of the cape.
Quailman had the. It's like Quailman and Skeeter put together.
Well,
'Cause
Quail
his-
Man, yeah, he had the
Quailman
fucking,
belt.
but he also
It
had a
was the
cape.
belt.
But he also had a cape.
Yeah, he did have the cape.
Um,
God, now I want to watch Doug.
you can do that while I'm watching Worlds Collide.
I'll watch Worlds Collide.
Shotzi Blackheart loses to Shayna. Shotzi was really impressive in this match, especially the way they've been portraying Shayna recently, you know, with how she goes in and she just dominates people and taps them out right away and crushes them. Like, she had some offense. She even hit that sliced bread number 2 on the apron, which was nice. There were a few little slip-ups and missed time spots in there, and Shotzi got a little ahead of herself and ended up getting caught in the Karafuda clutch and tapping out.
I'm still mad at you about the Shotzi thing.
Why?
Why do you think? Because Matt let me put my foot in my mouth because apparently his mom's nickname from his grandpa is fucking Shotzi.
Yeah.
So then I had an awesome day getting information from my father in law and my mother in law letting me know.
You said what
I
you
love you,
said.
Jackie.
Like, I can't. I
Yeah, but
can't
you didn't
control.
stop me. You read my notes. You're the worst. I'm so mad at you about that.
I
You're
completely
the fucking
forgot that my
worst.
grandfather used to call my mother Shotzi until we went to the movies and my mom brought it up because she was listening to the podcast. And she wasn't
Hmm.
mad or hurt or upset. She thought it was funny. And I didn't tell
I
you.
still felt really bad. So,
Well, you feel bad about everything. Like, that's not hard to do.
like 80% of things. No, 75, but okay.
Also, I'm enjoying Shotzi Blackheart. She's kicking ass. She's got that Blackheart from. They pointed out that she named herself Blackheart because she's a big Joan Jett fan.
I'll give her that. All right.
Um,
I'll give you that.
then match 2 in the Dusty Rhodes Classic, the Broserweights defeat Imperium, which I knew was going to happen because once Grizzled Young Veterans won, it wasn't going to be 2 NXT UK teams in Imperium and Grizzled Young Veterans in the main event, and it also wasn't going to be 2 heel teams. So Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne move on, and I want to like this team because they do a good job, like trying to make it feel like a real team. But again, it's that 2 guys that were just put together, and generally those guys win these kind of tournaments and matches and shit. And I don't understand
Right.
it, and I don't like it. Like Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne are a better tag team than every established tag team, most of which are former champions in this entire tournament. Like,
Right.
yeah, we'll see. Last, but certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen,
Keith motherfucking Lee.
our main event of Wednesday night, the limitless Keith Lee takes on Roderick Strong for the North American Championship. And ladies and gentlemen, last week on NXT, he said he would walk out champion, and that was not a prediction, it was a spoiler. Because at the end of the night, with a big bang catastrophe, which, by the way, the fact that his finishers are all named after Dragon Ball Z moves makes him that much cooler.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Big Bang Catastrophe and the Spirit Bomb, those are Dragon Ball Z things. Okay, well, Big Bang Attack Catastrophe, whatever. Anyway, no matter what they threw at him, Undisputed Era coming out, trying to stop it. Keith Lee gets the win. He's your new champion. And of course, the Undisputed Era and Imperium Brawl setting up for last night's World Collide pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was a good one. I watched the whole thing.
It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Had me nervous there for a little while, but
What were you nervous about?
I don't know. Towards the end, it looked like Roderick Strong was gonna win, but then Keith Lee started to get some momentum. It was good. I
Oh,
liked it. It
hey,
was a good match.
Juanita's on. Travis's mom is on. Hi.
Hi.
No, it was good. It was really good to see Keith Lee get that win. Me personally, I thought that they would have Strong beat him, and then we'd get that match later at the pay per view to crown him big there. But so here's the deal:
Mm.
Royal Rumble tonight, the biggest pay per view of the year next to WrestleMania, and in my opinion, it's probably my more favorite event. I know it's Travis's.
I do like Rumble. Royal Rumble is probably my favorite pay per view.
I want Keith Lee to win, and a lot of people are out there saying, well, they put the North American title on Keith Lee, so there's no way he can win. What if they put the North American title on Keith Lee to make you think that there's no way he can win, so it's more of a surprise
Yeah.
when he
I mean,
does?
Becky was SmackDown and Raw. I know there was another person who was intercontinental and I forget who it was, and champion at the same time.
Seth was
So
U.S.
why the
and
hell
WWE
couldn't he be?
champion.
Yeah, that's what it
Well,
was. Yeah.
it's because one is NXT and one is quote unquote main roster, so they're not going to have him.
Yeah.
Like when Asuka was still champion, to come up to the main roster, she had to relinquish the NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah, but didn't she win the championship before she relinquished the NXT? Wasn't it? I'm pretty. I thought she still had the championship and then went back and then they had like a battle royal or some shit to see who was gonna. I don't remember.
Asuka left NXT as champion, dropped the belt before her main roster debut, and she did not win the title in her main roster debut. Paige was NXT Women's Champion and won the WWE Divas Championship, and then had to relinquish that NXT Women's Championship that took the the old cum shot that they had to get rid of and retire.
Yeah.
SmackDown or actually, you know what? Was there anything that wasn't good enough for Kate on NXT? Because you watched that without me.
Yeah. So the first time I watched it, I fell asleep halfway through. And the second time, I don't normally watch NXT, so I'm not really again invested in the characters or the storyline. I did watch the Finn Balor and Keith Lee match, obviously, but other than that, I really don't know these people. I like Shayna Baszler, so I watched I think like half of that match, but
After you disrespected my mom, you didn't even watch the whole Shotzi match?
don't be a dick.
I
Don't
feel
be a
like
dick.
just out of
Do
guilt
not be
alone,
oh my God.
you should have watched that entire match. Just out of
You're
pure
the fucking
guilt.
worst. You know that? You are the fucking worst. You're the worst.
Jeez,
The
disrespect.
worst.
Also, I figured with your man crush on Matt Riddle and
Man crush.
your
You
yeah.
mean just a regular crush?
No, it's a man crush.
I'm not a man.
You could be. I don't know.
But anyway.
I don't know how you identify.
Fuck off. I'm pretty sure you do.
And Pete Dunne, that you might have watched that tag team match, but
No, because again, they're not a tag team.
and also you're
Irritating.
just a fucking Tony Storm hater. You hate them cakes, and I don't know why.
Who said the fuck that? I never said I hated her.
You didn't say you hate her, but
I
you
don't
said
know shit about her.
you said that I was talking all high about Tony Storm, and you don't see why she's not special, or something along those lines.
I don't remember this shit.
Uh-huh.
I think you have me confused with someone else.
Monday Night Raw, spit or swallow.
I'm gonna go. I liked it because I have way more notes on that than I'm not fucking saying that shit.
Why not? If I can say it, if Travis can say it, if everyone else can say it, and people can go on Twitter and vote it, why can't you say I spit Monday Night Raw or I swallow Monday Night Raw? Why can't you just get on
I
board
liked Raw.
and be a part of the
liked
group?
Raw. Move on, sir.
NXT, spit or swallow.
I'm gonna go with no. I only enjoyed 2 matches, so I'm gonna go.
You
with
only
no.
watched 2 matches. We doing
Which ones I
SmackDown,
really enjoyed 2.
SmackDown or AEW?
We can do AEW real fast if you want.
All right, yeah. Wasn't a whole lot here. They were on a cruise. They were on the Jericho cruise, so it was on a boat that was in dock. We kick off the show with Omega and Paige defeating SCU to become the new tag team champions. In a post-match interview, whenever Paige tries to talk or gets to talking, they keep interrupting him, and Kenny comes in and the Bucks come in, and he's not happy about it. He takes a shot at the Bucks saying, I can't believe that we won the tag team titles before you guys did. And even after the match, he hopped in the crowd and crowd surfed away from his friends and didn't celebrate with his friends. I really enjoy where they're going with Adam Page here. I can't wait for him to turn on Kenny Omega because I don't like Kenny Omega. But this is the
I
first.
don't either. The only thing, sorry, I just wish that that whole drunk thing was a little bit more exaggerated for people who don't watch all the time. Because from my perspective, I didn't see It didn't seem out of the ordinary to me. But if they had tried to like pull him back and he was like, nah, whatever, like
Well,
that would have made more sense to me.
if you had seen last week
But
where
it
he
probably
stumbled into frame with a drink and spilled it on there and was kind of slurring his speech and everything, you would have seen, a little bit more.
Yeah, it probably would have made more sense.
Yeah.
But
They've been building.
yeah.
Then we got Britt Baker versus Hell's favorite harlot, Priscilla Kelly. While I enjoyed Priscilla Kelly, this match was not great. And the Britt Baker promo at the end with Tony Schiavone was bad.
Real bad. Like car crash, you can't look away bad. It was not good.
I don't know what she was going for. She was trying to be a heel. What was going on? But yeah, it was fucking rough. She's making fun of Tony Schiavone and how he was a Starbucks barista. And then she started talking about how hot she was.
Like, the barista thing was like the only thing she had. Like, make up some other shit, bitch. Like,
she just kept repeating herself over and over. She's like, everyone loves you, Tony. Yeah, you're here. This is your meal ticket because we know before you got here, you were a barista. And then she comes, no. Everyone looks up to you, Tony. Or no one looks down on you just because you used to be a shitty barista. Like, it was really fucking weird. Then we got the Jurassic Express versus the Inner Circle. Jericho and Proud and Powerful. We got Marco Stunt in a life vest. Really entertaining match. They did a lot of fun stuff here. Again, I want to see more of the Luchasaurus. Like, give me a singles match. I want to see a full match with the Luchasaurus.
So let me get this straight. Luchasaurus was the guy with the dinosaur mask, and Jungle Boy was Matthew Perry's kid, right? And then who was the little pipsqueak? What was his name?
Marco Stunt.
Okay. All right. Continue.
And Travis believes that the money tag team is Marco Stunt and Luchasaurus, not Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. That those two pair better together, and that Jungle Boy Jack Perry should go off on his own. Not necessarily leave the group, but as a singles wrestler.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Then we got Maxwell Jacob Freeman versus Joey Janela. They're having a decent match until Ford and Chris Sabian come out on the stage and start making out, which of course distracts Janela, causing him to miss a move, leading to MJF hit the double cross. The way he hits that crossroad, I don't know if he's fucking it up or if he intentionally spikes them on the head, but it looks pretty fucking cool.
I love MJF.
Yeah. You kept talking about how big his penis was, or how big you thought it was.
Yeah,
even though
big package. I'm sorry, you couldn't tell in those tiny little trunks. You can fucking tell.
I don't know, because the entire crowd.
You were even like, maybe he just has big balls. No. Look for shapes.
Listen,
look for shapes.
The crowd was chanting "tiny dick" and "needle dick" at him the entire time, so they had a better look than you did. Anyway, he cuts a promo after the match, kind of calls out Cody. Cody comes out, but can't touch him. He even makes fun of Cody's speech impediment there a little bit. But you know who can touch him? The Young Bucks. So he gets to be a prick, and then he gets super kicked and dragged and tossed into a pool.
I still like him, though.
I wanted to see someone fall off the boat. Like, I'm disappointed they did the pool and they didn't throw someone overboard.
It might be a liability to do that.
I don't care. If you're on a boat, someone needs to go overboard.
Deep. Maybe there are sharks and piranhas, and maybe they could get hurt. Maybe they're in like a cruise ship like docking area, because there was a cruise ship that went by. So like maybe there are other anchors and stuff, and like maybe there's a reef. Maybe people will get hurt.
I don't care. If you're on a fucking boat, someone walks the plank, Kate.
I'm pretty sure if you're on a cruise ship, their main goal is to keep you on the fucking cruise ship.
Not if you're a talent. You walk the fucking plank. And on top of that, we had a fucking pirate. And the pirate didn't make someone walk the plank.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate planning on their end. But
you've got Pac versus Moxley. And John Moxley is out there with an eye patch, basically a fucking pirate. And you don't take advantage of the fact that he's a pirate on a ship. Very disappointed.
Dude. Pac or whatever the fuck his name is. God, he's an ugly, ugly fucking man. Every time I see him, I can't get over it. Like, I feel like I don't know how to fix him. Like, is it a haircut? I don't know.
Well, he did jack his hair up, but he's also got, like, those elf ears. He wasn't a bad-looking dude when he was Adrian Neville.
Dude, his hair's been like that since WWE. It's, like, gross. I don't get it.
He wasn't a bad-looking dude when he was Adrian Neville before they knocked his teeth out. Pac versus Mox was a good match, though. They tore it up. Unfortunately for us, the whole them going into the crowd and up onto the deck thing was during the commercial in the picture-in-picture, and then they came back as they got back in the ring, so we missed most of that.
I feel like there was part of a picture-in-picture where they took the little picture out and then it was just commercials. But I don't know if that was AEW or if it was SmackDown that did that.
SmackDown did fuck up their picture-in-picture, and we'll talk about that. AEW, I think they started doing picture-in-picture after the Britt Baker thing, and it was so bad that they just cut out and went to commercial.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was watching that. I was like, that was weird. But...
So for someone who doesn't watch AEW, what did you think of AEW?
I mean, it's not really my cup of tea, but I like the production value of WWE a lot better. It was cool that they were on a cruise ship. That was kind of dope. But I mean, I didn't like the Kenny Omega match because I really don't like Kenny Omega. I watched the Luchasaurus match, but meh. I watched that Dennis Chick match just because it was fucking awful. But yeah, that was definitely not good enough. And MJF is pretty much my saving grace. So, I mean,
Pac versus Mox.
About it. I've seen him do hardcore matches before. It was cool seeing Pac in that kind of stuff.
It wasn't really a hardcore match, but yeah, I got you.
Not really a hardcore, but like he was getting kicked in the eye and shit like that. And I'm still convinced there was like a blood pack in that fucking eye patch that just burst, and that's what was bleeding. But I don't know. I'm not a huge AEW fan, but I can see why people like it.
So, spit or swallow? Why can't you just get on fucking board? Jesus Christ.
Because I didn't like it when you told me you were going to do it in the first place.
Yeah, but this isn't your show. It doesn't matter if you like it or not.
It doesn't matter.
You're on here.
I don't give a shit if
you need to
guys
get
do
with the
it.
program.
I don't have to do it. No, I don't. No, I fucking don't. So, no, I'm going to go with, no, I didn't like AEW.
All right, last but not least, SmackDown, and then we'll do our predictions, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. Kate, I was watching SmackDown with Kate, and as unentertained as I was by the Bloodline, Roman Reigns and the Usos versus Corbin, Rude, and Ziggler, it actually put Kate to sleep. I found her asleep before the match had even really started. So I paused it. I got up.
I fell asleep when the Usos came out.
Yeah.
I fell asleep during their entrance.
So that was that. Jimmy gets taken out during the match with a supposed injury, leaving it 3-on-2. Then he returns to help make the save, and the Bloodline defeat King Corbin's court. Then we got a very heartfelt promo from Lacey Evans, where she talks about her father who struggled with addiction and depression, and basically it was Lady Hulk Hogan or Liberty Bell or America's Hero fighting for those and being an inspiration and a hope, and they're really trying to push Lacey Evans to that status of like a John Cena or the Goody Two Shoes role model, which is weird because she was just a heel not too long ago. But Bayley cuts that short, knocks her down, beats the crap out of her. And this is the beginning of the end of the women's segments for the night, which was fucking awful. We get Dana and Carmella backstage.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing.
We got Dana and Carmella backstage interviewing about being in the Royal Rumble, which is disturbed by Lacey and fucking Bayley's brawl. And then we have a tag team match. Or no, I'm sorry, it was a singles match. Alexa Bliss. Did I not right? Oh, yeah. No, it was a tag team match. I'm sorry. It was Fire and Desire versus Bliss and Cross. That turns out to be a DQ. Match barely even got started before Bayley and Lacey came down and brawled in the ring. And then they all started fighting, but you said it, and I'm going to let you say it again about the women's revolution and this whole thing and how you perceived it.
Remind me what I said, because I know what I meant, but I don't remember the exact words that I said.
Well, tell us what you meant.
I don't fucking remember, Matt. That's why I'm asking
you. Just said I knew what I
I
meant.
don't remember what I said. Just remind me, please, because I didn't write it down.
My wife was not too happy yesterday as we were catching up watching this, and she was going on about how there's supposed to be a women's revolution. Yet, instead of having full-on women's matches.
Yeah. So you have... All right. Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
No. I wanted you to do it, so now do it. You fought me on it, now you're back on board, so do it.
Yeah, because I couldn't remember what I was talking about before. But, yeah, no, it's just super annoying that they have these women matches that are basically just for show for 5 minutes or so. Like the, what was it? Monday Night Raw basically just had Becky and Kyrie. That was it. You have all of these women on your roster. You have, tag teams that aren't doing shit. You have tag team matches on SmackDown where there aren't even the tag team belts. Where are they? They're on fucking Raw. And they're not doing anything with them.
No, because Asuka's fighting for the championship.
Exactly. What are you doing with the tag team belts what other female tag teams are on Raw?
There are none. Actually, Raw has like no roster whatsoever. Raw is literally just Liv Morgan, Lana, the tag team champions, and Becky, Charlotte, and Sarah Logan.
Yeah.
Those are the only healthy people on the roster.
Where's Sarah Logan been?
Losing to Charlotte.
And Charlotte had 2 weeks ago.
Last week.
Was it last week? But anyway, it was a short ass match anyway. They made this huge deal about we have the women's revolution where, with NXT, we're not calling it the women's championship anymore. It's just a regular championship. They show more women on NXT than they do on the main shows.
Because NXT is the better show and the better product.
I'll give you that. Yeah. They have the better matches usually. But what the fuck are you doing with your women on the main roster? SmackDown has this catty bullshit where fucking Bayley's coming out and, doing all this bullshit with Sasha, making fun of some lady's fucking kid. Like, the fuck are you doing? And then you have an actual tag team match and you disrupt it 3 minutes into the fucking match with more bullshit. It's super annoying. I
agree 100%. They definitely need to utilize their women more and better because, if we looked at Monday Night Raw, we could have had a women's match instead of Matt Hardy versus Eric Rowan. Or
what was the point of that one?
Did we really need Paul Heyman and Ricochet segment? Did Paul really need to come out again and repeat himself? Could have done that. Like, there were spots.
Yeah, there was some backstage. There were a couple backstage segments with Seth Rollins and his ridiculous crew of minions. There were like 2 of them.
I actually really enjoy that story. So.
Yeah, no, it's a great story, but did you need 2 backstage segments?
Yes.
You had one directly after their match
Yep.
and one later on in the night.
Yeah,
Why
that's
did you need one right after their match when you could have done the same shit in the second segment and you could have used that time for somebody else?
because that's storytelling, Kate, and that's continuing a thread throughout the show. You're
Ever.
gonna lose that one. You're losing that one. I'm not giving you that one. There are plenty of other
Okay,
segments we
whatever.
could have cut. That you leave those guys
Yeah,
alone.
no, and I agree. Whatever.
Braun and Elias defeat Shinsuke and Cesaro. I don't really care about Braun and Elias as a tag team or this whole thing that's going on. Just give me a Braun
Yeah.
versus Shinsuke IC title match and be done with it.
Please.
And then we go
There's been,
backstage.
like, what?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
There's just been like 4 matches of back and forth shit.
Yeah.
And like the only part that I really like about that whole feud is when fucking Sami Zayn bitches about shit because I think it's funny. But other than that, I don't give a shit about Cesaro. Why is he even in that group? What is he doing? Why, like, he's a great wrestler and he could be doing a lot of shit other than this bullshit being Shinsuke's sidekick.
He really needs to go back to Sheamus and reform the bar because
Yeah.
this ain't working for
Because
him.
what the fuck is Sheamus doing? Like, that shit.
He's feuding with Shorty G. He's in, again, everything that Chad Gable does has to be about his height, and it always has to be a bigger, stronger
Yeah.
competitor who thinks that he's not worthy because he's only, my height.
Yeah.
We go backstage, and Big E is greasing himself up, and then there's a attendant who is stretching him out and helping him grease himself up. This is all setting up for Kofi versus Morrison, which is the next match. Kofi wants to know what he's doing, and he says something along the lines of, I always say, if you're greasy, eliminating me can't be easy, or something along those lines.
Yeah. That was pretty much it.
Yeah. They say that they're going to go into the Royal Rumble Sunday, and they're going to do it for Xavier Woods. And then we get Kofi versus John Morrison, and Kofi loses to John Morrison. That was actually a really entertaining match.
But it is so disappointing that he lost. So disappointing because John Morrison is stuck in 2001 and it's gross. And this parkour shit. Parkour.
Yeah.
Parkour style. Really?
The emphasis on parkour, and as Kate pointed out, we saw more parkour stuff from Kofi than we did John Morrison in that match.
For years, Kofi has been doing shit like that. And now it's all like, oh, John Morrison is this parkour style. It's a new parkour style. Bro, get some new pants because you've been wearing the same shit since 2000. Come on,
And
update your shit a little bit.
not just that, but also we've seen John Morrison wrestle. He was in WWE's, and I don't know why they're focusing so hard on the parkour stuff. It's awful. It's just his style of wrestling. They used to call it unorthodox. Like, they didn't have to. He has a very unorthodox style of wrestling. Like, I actually kind of like that better. But that was a JR thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you lose when JR goes away. Instead, it's Michael Cole yelling about parkour and trying to explain to fucking millennials what parkour is because they're not old enough to understand, I guess.
It was like 15 fucking years ago, and every time he comes out, all I want to do is go, parkour! Parkour! Every fucking time.
And you did.
I did.
During most of his moves. Other than that, it was an entertaining match. It'll be interesting to see what Morrison and Kofi do during the match to keep themselves from getting eliminated, or if they cancel each other out this year. So that'll be fun to watch tonight on the Royal Rumble. And then we finish with the contract signing. Daniel Bryan is out there to sign a contract against Bray Wyatt for a strap match for the Universal title. Of course, Mr. Rogers Bray is in the fun house, and he's trying to fax over the contract signed, and he just can't seem to get it to work. And Daniel is not having it, and wants Bray to come out and wants to sign this match and talks about mistakes. And Bray talks, mistake is the word of the day, and all this stuff is going on, which leads to the Fiend being there. Shows up, beats Daniel Bryan down, rips his shirt off, whips him with the strap, and then stabs himself in the hand, and then takes that hand and doesn't like dip the pen in the blood and sign his name in blood. No, he takes his hand and smears it across the page. And here's my thing. That is not a legal way to sign a document. That is not a signature. I can't just stab myself in the hand.
Binding.
Yeah, it's not legally binding in any way, shape, or form. He didn't actually sign that contract because I can't walk into buy a house and sit down in front of a lawyer. And as I'm signing, they're like, here's the paperwork, sir, I need you to sign. I just stab myself and handprint every page. That's not how that works.
That'd be fucking hilarious, though.
Yeah. So he didn't really sign in blood, but it looked cool. It was fine. It was whatever. I really hope we don't have the red light tonight in their strap match. Like, can we just not do that, please?
Oh, you probably will. Yeah.
Please just don't do that.
If they put the red light on when he comes out on every single one of his matches, yeah, they're probably going to have the red light.
I don't want it. I really don't.
It doesn't bug me anymore, honestly.
It's hokey. Like, there's enough about his character to where we don't need that because all of that addition just makes it hokey, in my opinion. And I love the character, and I love Bray. You're doing too much.
I kind of love that
much.
he's doing two characters.
I love that. I'm just saying they're trying to do
and honestly,
too much.
I forgot that he was champion until I saw his belt when I was watching it yesterday. I totally forgot, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right." But like, I would have, because I don't know, you never talked about it, and I would have figured you'd talk about it more.
Actually, you just haven't listened to the podcast in like 3 weeks.
That's not an untrue statement.
Well, normally we listen to it together, and we haven't had the time to do it. So I've been listening to it without you to critique myself. Can you grab those prediction sheets so we can do predictions and then end the show?
Yeah.
While Kate's doing that, we got predictions for the Royal Rumble. Universal title match, Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. The women's title match, Ches. I'm going to let Kate do the rundown, and then we'll do our picks. And then she'll mark them on the sheet.
What do you want me to do? All right. Get my handy dandy pen.
What's the first match on the list?
Give me a second. Jeez. First match on the list is Becky Lynch versus Asuka.
I'm going to go Asuka. I want to see Becky lose that title. I'd rather see her chasing. I think she's going to be better at chasing the title than she is being champion. She's been champion a long time.
I'm going to go with Becky just for the fact that every time that she's had an interaction with Asuka, Asuka's kind of left the winner. Whether or not she, got her down to the mat or sprayed shit in her eye so I'm kind of thinking that Becky's going to come out for this one.
Also, the rumor is that Shayna is going to enter and win the Rumble and go on to face Becky at WrestleMania. So there's that possibility.
That would be really cool, actually.
Yeah, because you're a big Shayna fan.
I'm super excited about that, actually. That sounds dope as hell.
What's next?
Next, we have... Chill out, I'm getting there. Bayley versus Lacey Evans.
I'm also going to go Lacey. And that'll lead into my Royal Rumble pick as to who's going to win. They're really pushing this American hero, Lacey Evans. I really think that... not that Bayley's championship run has been bad, but I don't think it's really gone the way they've expected, and they've done a lot of things to try and revamp it. And, I see them going with Lacey tonight.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Mainly just because I hate Bayley as a heel. I hate it. But, yeah, no, I agree with you.
All right.
Next is Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin.
Roman's getting that win.
Count anywhere.
Roman's getting that win.
Yeah. I also hate Baron Corbin, so it's a burning passion. The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan in a strap match.
The Fiend.
You know, I'm
Don't
gonna go Daniel
don't
Bryan.
do it. Don't fucking do it.
I am gonna go Daniel
Don't
Bryan.
fucking do it.
Um, I'm gonna go Daniel Bryan.
You've already lost, and we haven't even started the pay-per-view yet.
I'm gonna just go Daniel Bryan because
You want to be wrong?
no, I just think he's gonna win.
Let me explain this to you. Unless they pull some crazy loophole shit, Roman Reigns is winning the Royal Rumble, and he's going to go on to face the Fiend at WrestleMania, and he's going to be the one to not only
Wait,
over,
so Roman Reigns is doing Falls Count Anywhere and the Royal Rumble?
and so is Baron
That
Corbin.
boy's got a busy night. He's got a busy night.
Yeah, Roman Reigns will win. He'll go on to WrestleMania. He'll face the Fiend. He'll probably be the one to beat the Fiend, and that'll be his coronation as champion because he will be the guy who not only overcame cancer, but overcame the cancer that is the Fiend on SmackDown. Blah 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 blah. For that to happen,
Okay.
Daniel Bryan cannot win tonight.
All right.
What do we got next?
Sorry, I was just looking at your men's rumored for the. Sorry, some of them are
I didn't.
definitely not
I
happening.
didn't make those
No,
up.
I know, but there are some that are definitely not fucking happening. But okay.
You don't know that.
And Sting and Edge.
Yeah, actually, it's rumored that Edge signed a contract with WWE that is a non-Legends deal, and that his
Edge
neck is.
physically can't wrestle.
You don't know
I
that.
thought he couldn't wrestle.
You thought that. They also said the same thing about Paige, and then she came back, and then she got hurt again.
And she now physically cannot wrestle.
Listen,
Her neck is fused.
she's also rumored to come back at WrestleMania as well, and says she's feeling better. Not WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. All I know is WWE won't let them back if they can't wrestle, but if they come back, then they have been medically cleared by a shit ton of doctors and given the okay.
No,
So
obviously, if they are back, then yeah, no, they're fine. But I just don't.
and
think so.
Edge
But
did
anyway,
that spear in Canada when he did his last return debut. So
when was that?
months ago, maybe between SummerSlam and Survivor Series, or maybe around SummerSlam. Speared somebody on
I
the
feel
outside.
like giving somebody a spear and taking a bump are different.
Not when it's
but-
your neck.
Who knows? Anyway, Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo.
Andrade. He just
I
got the
honestly don't
title.
know on this one.
He just got the title. He's only defended it against Ray. I don't see them taking it off him already.
Fine.
And I've also got 2 title changes.
Your title change theory, I think, is bullshit most of the time, but okay. Where they don't only have like a couple. There has been a pay-per-view where every single title has changed. Yeah. Oh, I wish I kept predictions. I wish I kept these fucking pages because it did. Every single one changed, and you were fucking wrong. But anyway, Sheamus versus fucking Shorty G.
Sheamus.
I'm going for the underdog. Little short man.
Of course you are.
Why not? All right. 30-man Royal Rumble. Do you want me to go through all these names?
You don't have to. I just printed those out so when you and John and Caroline and Eric went to go do your predictions, you knew who was announced and who was rumored to help you make a choice. I know who's on there.
Should we go through the rumored?
You can go through the rumored if you want.
No.
I just listed a bunch of people. Like, some of them aren't even rumored. Like, WWE has just said that NXT is going to be in there, so I threw in some bigger NXT names that might show up, like Adam Cole or Tommaso Ciampa or Keith Lee, who I hope shows up. But nobody from NXT has officially been announced, even though they keep saying 3 brands.
Yeah.
Then there's the obvious Edge, CM Punk.
Sorry. It's so funny.
I put Sting and The Undertaker on there. They're not actually rumored to come in. It's just If we're gonna start a program going into
Wishful thinking.
WrestleMania for Sting and Undertaker, now would be a good time. We've only got 2 surprise entries that haven't been announced yet, so like,
Yeah.
I hate to say this, I want Keith Lee to win, but I'm gonna go with Roman Reigns. I really think that's what's gonna happen.
Mm, I honestly really don't know. Like, that's a really hard one for me.
Kate and I are a
What are you
little
doing?
backed up on our schedule, so. No. Come at 3.
Oh, hi, John.
All right.
Hi.
Of course, John's interrupting the podcast. Sorry, I didn't hear a word you said because I was doing that. Who'd you pick?
I I said I really don't know. This one is always really hard for me because I like literally in my mind it could be fucking anybody or it could be like 10 people out of this, the 30. But I mean, I can go through who I know aren't going to win. Like R-Truth probably isn't going to win. John
Don't
Morrison probably
don't go
isn't
through who
gonna.
you don't think's gonna win. You got to pick a name. Do you
Undecided.
do you think it's gonna be Drew McIntyre? Do you think it's gonna be Roman Reigns? Are you gonna take till like the pay? You have to pick something today. So you want
No, I
more
know
time?
I'll pick something today, but like I don't know. I'll have to think about it because I really don't know. Like that one's really hard for me. And the same thing with the women. It's just a lot of picks and there's a lot of good people and there's like I would love for Aleister Black to get to the end somehow or at least within the last 5 because he's incredible and
Oh,
he's had
he's in my
fucking
final
squash
4.
matches. Yeah, like and I really hope that either him or fucking Keith Lee or Braun Strowman eliminates Brock Lesnar. Like, I really hope they just like group together and eliminate that bitch.
All right, so we'll hold off on your men's Royal Rumble pick. You've got till the show starts. And you're not going to give me a women's either, even though they've only announced like 6 women that are actually in the
Yeah,
match.
so how the fuck am I supposed to know?
Hold on, that's actually great because I want my Royal Rumble to be full of surprises. So if I only know 6 people coming in,
Yeah,
I don't know who the fuck could be in it. Whereas the men, I know who 28 of the people fucking are. There are no surprises except for maybe 2. That's
right.
kind of disappointing.
But if you think about it, there are several more men on the roster than there are females. So it makes it a lot easier for the females not to announce a lot.
They
Because
still
there
could have
aren't-
announced Sarah Logan and the Iconics and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Where the fuck are the Iconics too?
yeah. Like they could have Kyrie
are they?
Sane. They could have announced quite a few people for this women's rumble and still had a lot
yeah.
of open spots. But I like the fact that they didn't because now I really don't know who they're going to bring in, what legends are going to be here, how many NXT superstars are coming in. Like there's 24 open spots.
That's-
There's no way.
Also, the only thing that kind of bugs me about the women's rumble is that they have more surprise legend that aren't going to fucking win. They're just there for the fun of it.
Yeah, but that's always been part of the Royal
LeRae
Rumble.
probably or Kelly isn't gonna win. So it's just it kind of irritates me because it gives more chances to the least amount because we don't have a lot of women on the roster, but I don't know. It just kind of I don't know. It irritates me because I know they're not going to win.
Okay. I am gonna go with Shayna. And I've actually been debating that. Like, I know I picked Becky to lose and Asuka to win. Either way, Shayna versus Asuka or Shayna versus Becky is a good story. Hell, even Shayna versus Lacey because I picked Lacey to win. I was gonna go with Sasha because I thought, okay, Sasha wins the Rumble. Then, she goes on to face Lacey, who defeated Bayley, blah, blah, blah. I just don't think there's enough of a story there. And while I'd like to see someone like Charlotte or Sasha win the Royal Rumble, I don't know if they're going to do that this year. Sasha deserves it. Sasha needs it because they've really done a shitty job with her. But I don't know if they're going to do it. So I'm going to go with the safe bet, and I'm going to pick Shayna.
All right. No, I mean, that sounds good, but I still have to think about it.
And mind you guys, Roman and Shayna are not the people I want to win. They're just the people I think WWE is gonna win. I want Keith Lee to at least win or eliminate Brock Lesnar if he's even in the match, which he's not announced yet. I'd love Aleister Black to win. Like, there's a lot of people in there I'd like to see win. Roman's not one of them. I don't want that to happen.
No.
Same
But
thing
that's
with the
your
women's.
pick, right? It's Roman.
Roman and Shayna.
Okay.
All right, wow, I almost called you Travis. All right, Kate. I think we're good for the show. What was your favorite show of the week? Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or AEW?
I'm gonna go with Raw, just based on the amount of notes that I had for it. There's a lot more information that I put down. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Raw.
And as always, for me, especially just because Keith Lee is our new North American champion, it was NXT because it was a better wrestling show, a better storytelling show, and just a better show overall. All right, Kate. I got nothing for him. What about you?
I got nothing.
All right, guys. If you're watching this live, obviously, you guys can find us at facebook.com/group/SmackinItRaw or facebook.com/Creatia You guys can find me on Twitter at Matt Ritter. That is at MATTRIDDER. You guys can find Kate on Instagram at
The Kate Ritter.
You guys can find Travis at Sir Cussalot. That is at SIR_CUSSALOTT on both Instagram and Twitter. Please, I don't think we're going to do a post show. Travis is not available, and I haven't roped anyone up. I might come on live and just babble about Royal Rumble for a bit, maybe convince John to stick around and do something. But more than likely, there will not be a post show tonight. But we will talk to you guys next week, and we'll cover what we didn't from the Royal Rumble. So enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the wrestling this weekend. Let's hope we have a good fucking Royal Rumble. And everyone have a lovely night. For my wife, Kate, who still does not have a nickname, I am the Ward Matt Ritter. We are Smackin' It Raw, and we are that damn good.